Hey, welcome back to the shop. So today I'm going to be doing the suspension on this bike here. Front and rear suspension. I'm going to start with the front. I have this front end of a mountain bike, which I got with that from the junkyard. I took this off of the part of the frame it came with. So now I'm going to take apart that one. And in a perfect world, this will fit right into that. But that's probably not going to happen. So we'll see. Okay, so upon not so close inspection of the two shafts here, you can clearly see the old one is smaller than the new one. So, but on the housing on the frame there, this sort of, it fits but it doesn't fit. I can put it in here and it goes in, as you can see, but it's tight because the problem is not this part. This is plenty big enough for that to go in. It's oversized all the way. The problem is the bearing collars on the top and bottom, because those were meant to hold smaller bearings, and they don't fit the bearings for this one. But what I do have is the frame from that mountain bike, and it also has the same type of collars at the top and bottom. So I'm going to see if it's possible to take off these two pieces and put them on there. Okay, so I got them out. Here's one of the old ones, and here's one of the new ones. As you can see, they're very similar in size, but on here, the new one is a little bit bigger on this inside. So it won't press fit into here like they're supposed to. But these are steel. That is steel. I don't want to weld anything yet. But that is an option if that's what it comes to. So I'm going to see what I can do with this right now. Okay, so what I've done with these bearing collars is I put them in the lathe, just like this, and turn them, and I just use the grinder to turn down this spot right here, because this is the part that's a little bit too big. I've already done that with one of them, and as you can see, it fits in the housing here quite nicely. So once I get that second one done, I can put that in the other end and put the front fork on. So now that's on, I can get this front suspension fork again, and then this collar that gets pressed down in. So I'm going to do that right now, and then the front suspension should be done. Okay, so now I've got it down to the frame. I'm going to work on the rear suspension here. So I'm going to take all this off and remake this whole rear end section. I'll probably use this bottom part here as a template for the new rear suspension arm that I'm going to be making. Okay, so what I've been doing now is making the new suspension fork, because it has to be much stronger than just this. So I've got one of the arms made. To get the bends in it, what I did was I just got the angle grinder and made some cuts in there so that it bends nice and evenly. And then right now I just have some tack welds on there, but those will all be welded up and ground down smooth. So this is the one side. You can see I've got the bends in there pretty nicely, pretty well mimicking the original. I also have it bent this way as well, just like that. So I'm happy with how this turned out. I can't make the second one right now though, because I don't have more of this pipe. I'm gonna need to get more of the pipe. But what I've done is, for attaching that, I made up these three bushings right here. They're 5/8 inside, the 5/8 inch bolt goes through it, and these will go on right there. This middle one here, the one that's a little bit bigger than the two side ones, this will replace this big barrel housing for the pedals, because I'm not going to have pedals on this. So I'm going to take this off, weld this onto the bottom of this post, just in place of that. And then the two smaller ones will be attached to the suspension fork on the side there, so that will be able to pivot right on there. And then I'll put the spring shock on, and that will be the rear suspension. So I'll get to that right now. Okay, so I got this welded on there nicely now. And the next thing I'm going to do is modify this piece right here so that the engine will actually fit inside of it. Because right now this is too far back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some cuts up here and some cuts in here, so this will all move forward and give enough room to mount the engine inside eventually. Okay, so that bend turned out really well. I compared it to the engine and that is good. Now I want it to bend back around here so it'll meet up there. And I want this bend to be sharper than the other one, so I'm going to make the cuts closer together. Okay, so now the frame modifications have been done of this main beam here. I bent it out this way and then right here back that way a little bit. So now it's big enough inside for the engine to fit. As you can see here, the engine, it fits in, it's a pretty snug fit, but it does fit right about like that. So I'll have to start working on the engine mount now. And the other thing I did was finished the rear suspension arm here. So welded these up, cleaned it out, grounded it down. This goes on right to this hole back here. Just like that, and then this bolt goes through, and that's the rear suspension. So right now I'm going to get to working on the engine mount, and I'll be back once I get some progress on that. Okay, so I just finished making this engine plate out of 1/4 inch steel, 4 inches wide, and it fits nicely right in there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to tack weld this on both ends. I'll put the engine back on here just to confirm that it's in a good position, and then I'll figure out some type of support under here so this is nice and sturdy. Okay, so the engine mount now is finished. I have it up on 4 supports right here. It's nice and strong now. I might put more in here eventually later on, but I don't really think it's that necessary. The other thing I did back here was I'm on the suspension arm. I made the mount for the spring shock that'll go on here. So this just bolts on like this, just like that. And then that'll be the suspension action there. So that's pretty much where I'm at now for this weekend. Pretty much finished like the main frame modifications. Did the suspension. So next will be, what would next be? Next, well, I'm gonna need to get like a torque converter and all that stuff for this and proper wheels. But I don't know when the next update of this will be, because I'm planning on getting back to the tank here and work on the turret of that. So, but this has been a good project, and I think this is gonna be really cool once it's finished. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.